You know the feeling, right? You walk into a crowded room, maybe a networking event or just a casual party, and you spot that one person who just effortlessly commands the space. People are naturally drawn to them, the conversations are flowing, and everyone just kind of wants to be in their orbit. It's so easy to look at someone like that and think, well, they're just lucky. They were born with natural charisma. But honestly, that is a total myth. What we're uncovering in this explainer is that social influence isn't magic. It's definitely not a genetic lottery ticket. It's actually a deliberate architecture. It's a structure that you build step by step, brick by brick, using foundational habits that absolutely anyone can master. So today, we're unpacking the architecture of social excellence, and we're totally dismantling the idea that you have to be born a natural networker to succeed.
Okay, let's get right into it. The core foundational truth we are building on today is that incredible interpersonal relationships simply don't happen by accident. They improve through intentional, learned behavior. Think about a house for a second. You wouldn't expect a beautiful, sturdy home to just spontaneously assemble itself out of a random pile of lumber, right? It needs a blueprint. It needs deliberate effort. Well, human connection is exactly the same. What we're looking at here is essentially a masterclass for human connection. It's about shifting our mindset from just crossing our fingers and hoping we make a good impression to knowing exactly how to construct one from the ground up.
So here is the blueprint we'll be navigating today. First, the architecture of influence. Then, sharing your unique talents, the absolute power of active listening, mastering that first impression, and finally, building meaningful rapport. All right, kicking things off with part 1, the architecture of influence and how to build intentional behavior.
To successfully navigate our daily interactions in our careers, we have to start with a rock-solid foundation of purposeful behavior. But what does intentional behavior actually mean? Well, it literally means taking deliberate actions designed to improve your relationships and add real value to the people around you. This is the moment you transition from being just a passive participant in your social life to becoming the active architect of it. Think about passive behavior for a second. It's walking into a meeting, sitting way in the back, and just waiting for someone to call on you, or scrolling on your phone while someone is telling a story. Active, intentional behavior? That's taking the time to prep a thoughtful question before you even walk into that room. It's putting the phone completely away and leaning in. It's the conscious choice to bring value to absolutely every room you enter.
Moving right along to section 2, sharing your unique talents. This is really the base of your architecture. So, I want you to seriously ask yourself, what is your unique talent? We usually categorize our talents as just fun stuff we do for ourselves on the weekends, but let's completely flip that script. Maybe you are exceptionally good at taking messy, chaotic data and turning it into gorgeous spreadsheets. Perhaps you just have a knack for breaking the ice with a great joke, or maybe you're an amazing baker. The point is, how can those highly specific, unique skills be pulled out of isolation and used to make the people around you happier or just a little less stressed? Our sources make a brilliantly simple point here. Offering support in an area you already excel in is a highly effective way to add value to others. Your unique talents aren't just cute hobbies. They are actual tools meant to help your community. Reframing it like this completely changes the game. It transforms your solitary pursuits into super sturdy bridges for connection. When you offer up a skill that comes naturally to you, you're doing something huge. You're showing competence, you're being generous, and you instantly establish yourself as someone who contributes rather than someone who just consumes. You become the solid foundation someone else can rely on. Let's actually put this into motion right now. Identify a personal skill, think of a friend in need, and use your skill to help them today. Seriously, try it out. Let's say your secret talent is graphic design, and you've got a friend who is stressing out trying to format their resume for a job hunt. If you take 20 minutes out of your day to make that document look amazing for them, that is a concrete block placed right in your social foundation. It costs you almost zero energy because you're already great at it, but to them, it's massive value. It's a super simple, actionable step that starts building your influence today.
Okay, on to part 3, the power of active listening, which really acts as the structural walls of our connection. Now, active listening isn't just sitting there while sound waves bounce around the room. It is an active verb. It requires paying absolute attention when someone is talking, keeping eye contact, and here's the tricky part, not interrupting them. Being a genuinely good listener is the absolute core of showing empathy. When you actively listen, you're sending a deep psychological signal. You're basically telling them, right now, in this moment, your thoughts and your stories are the most important things in the world to me. That makes people feel incredibly important and validated, which is the exact glue you need to make people genuinely trust you. You can really see the stark difference when you compare passive and active listening. We've all experienced passive listening. You're pouring your heart out telling a story, and the other person is checking their watch, looking away, or worse, they cut you off to talk about themselves. It totally kills the connection on the spot. It makes you feel tiny. But active listening, looking right at the speaker and giving them your full, undivided attention, that builds the walls that give your relationship serious security. It proves you're actually invested in a deep, meaningful conversation, not just waiting for your turn to speak.
So here's a challenge to really cement this habit. Practice listening to a story without interrupting. Try it the very next time a friend or a coworker is talking to you. It sounds super easy, but man, it takes discipline. When you naturally want to jump in with your own similar story, just bite your tongue. Keep that eye contact. Just absorb what they are saying. The source text beautifully states that listening is loving. When you give someone the uninterrupted floor, you're handing them an incredibly rare commodity, your total presence. It's one of the strongest walls you can build. Which brings us to Section 4, Mastering the First Impression. Think of this as the welcoming doorway to rapport.
To walk through that doorway smoothly, we have an actionable method called the Magic Handshake and Smile. It's a remarkably simple 3-step sequence. Step 1, smile warmly. Step 2, provide a clear verbal introduction. Step 3, offer a firm handshake. I know, it sounds like basic common sense, right? But making this a highly structured, repeatable method guarantees that your first impression is consistently positive, confident, and welcoming every single time you meet someone new. Let's break down exactly why these 3 simple steps are so unbelievably powerful. First off, smiling instantly builds warmth. Evolutionarily speaking, a genuine smile signals that you are safe to approach. Second, remembering names, which is a huge part of that clear verbal intro, shows immense respect. There is literally no sweeter sound to a person than their own name. It validates them instantly. And finally, those clear verbal introductions just aid networking by removing all that awkward initial friction. A firm handshake seals the deal. These basic social skills make a massive, measurable difference and are the absolute cornerstone of networking. And finally, Section 5, Building Meaningful Rapport. This is where we complete the entire structure. When we step back and look at what we've constructed here, we see how the base, the walls, and the doorway all enclose a space where true connection actually happens. By mastering these foundational social skills, sharing those unique talents, locking in on active listening, and nailing your introductions, you completely transform your daily interactions. You're going to start moving through the world with significantly greater daily confidence. You'll exude increased interpersonal warmth. This inevitably leads to much stronger networking abilities and ultimately deep, meaningful rapport with everyone around you. The architecture is complete. As you can see, true social excellence isn't some magical trait you're just born with. These combined strategies serve as a completely practical, everyday guide for building real social influence. It's something you consciously construct, layer by layer, habit by habit. By choosing to add value, choosing to really listen, and choosing to present yourself warmly, you are taking total control of your interpersonal destiny. You have the power to be the architect of your own social life, rather than just standing by watching other people succeed. So the only question left for us is, how will you start building your social architecture today? Are you going to offer up that unique talent to a coworker who's totally overwhelmed? Are you going to finally listen to a loved one's story tonight without interrupting or glancing at your phone? Or maybe you'll practice that magic handshake and warm smile the next time you walk into a crowded room. Take these foundational lessons, apply them intentionally, and step through the doorway of better connections, starting right now.